So today is April 17th, 2019. I'm going to do my weekly inspection of the hive. I already have the smoker lit, and just a little background, you should keep in mind, keep the weather in mind whenever dealing with your bees. The last week has seen, I'd say probably half the days as forage days and the other half were pretty cold and rainy, which is why we put the sugar syrup or the pollen feed on the hives to begin with. We do it just to keep them always moving forward and growing. That way they are as productive as they can be. All right, here we go. I can see that bees are coming in and out of the hive with pollen attached to them. So I can tell already that the sugar feeder is pretty low. It's about down to here. Whoop. Sorry, girls. As you can see, there are fewer bees up on the inner cover since this top box is not filled yet. Small management or inspection technique that I use, and I find it pretty helpful. I put the lid upside down next to the hive, so as I crack this box and take it off, I have a place to put the bees without crushing any that might be on the bottom side of the box. I'm going to pull this first frame. Ooh. And they've started building wax. You can see it there on the bottom of the frame. That's their way of getting up. The bee space should be such so that they can get from one box to the other. Sometimes it's a little bigger, and sometimes the bees just like filling it with stuff. So this is one of the frames that we added a week ago, and you can tell that the bees have accepted it. I wanted to show you this right here. It might be hard to tell or hard to see, but this, they haven't done anything up here, but right through here they're starting to draw it out. So that's the advantage of adding a little bit of that wax to your plastic cells. Oh, come on, girls, behave. There we go. And when you put the hive body down on top of the lid, it only has 4 small points of contact, which will help prevent the hive body from crushing any bees. And if you're looking for that thing, you don't see it. They ate the entire pollen patty. And again, we feed them sugar, we feed them the pollen so that, or correction, we feed them sugar water in the pollen patty just to keep them moving forward. That way if it's a cold, rainy, they're not stuck inside with nothing to eat. They can continue to grow. This is a queen cup. I'm going to zoom in on it before I crush it. The queen cups are used by the hive to start new queens. So it's spring, it's mating season. The bees want to make new queens so that they can move out. And I got bad news. I not only see that there's something in there, but it appears that there's a small larva in there. So it would take 15 days for the hive to swarm. I'm going to prop that up precariously. I want a quarter. I used a big word. Please send my quarter to me at benjaminsbees.com. Okay. Now here's this frame. And real quick with that queen cell, I said it was a larva. Very possibly could have been royal jelly that they were using to prime the cell. Plenty of nectar, plenty of pollen in this one. But they build the queen cup, and then the queen lays an egg inside. Once the queen has laid her egg, they feed the developing queen a royal jelly rich diet, and she hatches out after 16 days. Usually to an empty hive, because the current queen leaves with half the population. Might be hard to see, but there are some eggs right in there. And of course, a queen cup. I don't see an egg in that one. Plenty of eggs right through here. So, see them kind of looking at me. Don't look at me, girls. Can't do it while you watch. There we go. I see lots of eggs, larvae, and developing brood with a little bit of honey around the outside. I'm going to flip this frame. Taking special care to the end bars and the bridge comb. Dang it. They really glue these things together. Relax, girls. I see eggs around the outside. See larvae, and then that's plenty of capped brood in the center. Yeah, that's the ugly side of the hive. Or the bee yard, excuse me. That's the ugly side of the bee yard. I do see some developing queen cells. Correction, some queen cups. I snuck a peek, but did not see any get her down in. Give them a little nudge, let them know the bridge comb is a-coming. They should move. If you look right through here, they're all lined up staring at me. A little bit of smoke keeps them at bay. There we go. This is all larvae. See what I did there? I turned you away from the ugly side of the bee yard when I flipped the frame. Look good. They look good. Good girls. There we go. Always paying attention to the bridge comb. Almost crushed a bee right there. She had her head in a cell. Oh, these girls. And if you see those larger cells that are kind of protruding out right there, those are drones. It's a sign that this hive has succumbed to the desires of spring. They're making a bunch of dudes so that they can help spread their genetics when the impending swarms come. My job is to control that by robbing out queen cells, keeping hive populations to a minimum to prevent too strong of an urge, and then also hopefully preventing large groups of bees from settling on anyone's vehicle or inside of anyone's homes. The problem with the bottom box too is they take that extra space and they just love putting drone larvae in there. And I don't care how good of a beekeeper you are, you're probably not going to see the queen if she's laying. Without that extra added length, she's almost impossible to see. So right now I'm just taking a quick glance for the queen, which we got eggs, just like seeing her, so I don't need to see her. And queen cells. Queen cups aren't the end of the world. Queen cells can be. Whoop. Oof. That bee tried to sting me because I was pinching her. But then the second I wasn't pinching her, she aborted. She said, forget that, he's okay. I like him. And if you were paying attention and you were counting, I think we've got 4 or 5 full frames of brood, which is just a lot of brood. That's 32,000 bees that are in the developmental stages of, or in various stages of development, excuse me. So this hive population is about to blow up. There she is. Beautiful. Man, she's beautiful. Look at that. Right there in the middle. Hard to miss her. So right now, luckily we made it almost all the way through this time. I'm going to make sure she gets in safely. There's no bridge comb around her. And then a trick that I do is I then push all the frames together like this. Another trick that I do is I'll just put the first frame that I take out on the far side. That can also work. Either which way it works. I think you're all about to see some of the really cool parts of beekeeping. This frame goes this way. In the next few weeks, this hive population is going to explode. I'll be robbing out queen cells, I'll be robbing out queen cells, and I will be transferring them into nukes, making splits, and we'll be watching this little girl's future generations, her daughters hatch out and mate and start laying eggs, which is really amazing. It's really amazing. This is one healthy pollen patty. We're gonna try to take care of these bees. So again, I don't love feeding the bees, but given an opportunity, the bees really need to be able to grow, and they can't do that if every other day is rainy and cold. So if you don't agree, you can stop feeding sooner, let the bees be bees, or, you know, not everybody feeds. Some beekeepers just get less honey and they're happy with that. I'm going to be honest with you, I'd be happy with less honey. I just want my girls to be productive, I guess. It's hard to argue with that. I get in there. I'll probably mix up another batch of sugar water by the time I come out. And again, the bucket's full about to here. So that's it. Again, April 17th, 2019. Hive looks good. The next few weeks, it's just going to be amazing. They're going to fill this box with honeycomb, fresh honeycomb that they're building. We're going to rob out queen cells. We're going to put them in nuke boxes next to this hive. Her children, meaning the queens that hatch from those queen cells, will then mate. They'll come back, they'll start laying. And, you know, if for whatever reason one of the hives goes queenless, which happens, you then have queens on hand to fix it. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad you guys get to enjoy it.